All right, I think I'm in. That's amazing. All right, I don't even know where all right, let me find out where everyone is at. Where my where would my comments? Oh, there they are. Okay. I've got the comments now too. This is amazing. I think they did make it to be a little bit more user friendly. Maybe we'll see. Oh my goodness, this is a trip. Anyways, okay, let me get my notes up and running, and we will be um ready to go on day 2 of the Breathe Better, Sing Stronger challenge. I know some of you probably didn't even get to the first video because I did upload it late last night. Sorry about that, but you know, things happen that way where, all right, not yet. I need this over here. Let me organize my screens. I think I need a third screen. I need a third screen so I can see everything that I want to. I'll put myself over here and, yeah. I want to see where the comments are too. I lost the comments. There they are. So tell me, are you in? Is anyone else participating in this? If you are, just let me know and I'll see if those comments work too. That would be a super amazing. Let me get that like situated too. This is definitely a new thing. You know, we're all growing. Oh, good, Darlene. Hey, you're in. Woohoo. And I see the comments. Isn't that amazing? It is working. Okay. I am almost ready. I am just figuring all of this stuff out. I am growing in my Facebook in my Facebook thing. So whatever, when they change things, you've just got to shift and go and see how things maneuver around. But enough of that. Let's get into the day 2. How many people are really excited about that? Day 2 of Breathe Better, Sing Stronger. I know I am, and it's gonna be amazing. I'm learning more stuff as I continue to bring you really good content. So let me share my screen. Let's get going on this thing. Share screen. There it is. Okay. And I didn't have to modify videos today because I figured out something else was not quite falling yesterday, but that's okay. So these 5 days, we are diving deep into airflow foundations because number 1, we don't want to feel the strain of singing and ruining our vocal cords, right? We want to have a smooth voice that doesn't waver, you know, when you're going from your head voice to your chest voice and all those things. And we want to be right on pitch at the first time, not having to backtrack. And so a lot of this things, is dealt with breathing. We also want to sustain long phrases, and we want a strong voice that can amplify safely. We don't want to over sing if we don't have to, right? And we want to be able to control our dynamics. Make it soft, and then make it a little bit louder, and then come back to softness, so we really can express ourselves. We want to eliminate hoarseness and fatigue. Some people are sore after they just do 2 songs or, you know, the Sunday. You shouldn't be sore. And expanding your range, not having the ceiling onto what, you know, if you breathe better, you can have a longer range. And I know Darlene and I went over this just a little bit in her private lesson, and that is amazing when you can start seeing those differences happening. So this is why we eventually want you guys to master breathing techniques in the accelerated program called the Songbird Music Academy. This is where you're going to see progress. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. This is kind of my brainstorm that the Lord had shown me a while back about cultivating voices for Him. And as we talked yesterday, we were diving into this week just a little fragment of the process to sing with confidence and power. But there are actually 4 crucial components to doing that, and I will show them to you just a bit here. I call it the RISE vocal method. God created this business or ministry, whatever you wanted to call it, called Rising Fire. We are a sweet incense, making sound and music and melodies to the nostrils of the Lord, right? And so this is the RISE method of how we do that in a way that's safe. So number 1 is going to be, health of your voice, avoiding injury. Second is efficient placement, where you get freedom and power. The third is airflow foundations. That is what we're doing for the 5-day intensive here. And it's all about breathing and support. Room to Soar will help you to even more expand your range. And truth in your spirit is be secure in who God says you are and what He's called you to do. That is being super confident in what He's called you to do, because He's in control, because it's His vision, it's His thing, not our thing, right? Okay, so let's see. Let me get back to my notes, because I'm off my notes now. Each of all of these steps work in tandem together. They're not just separate, but we are breaking them down and isolating each of them so that we can train our voices to do what they're intended to do. Okay. It's just like when we're bodybuilding. Sometimes we work on biceps, we isolate that muscle, and sometimes we do full body exercises to do the full body, right? So it's the same thing. Okay, mouth breathing. Mouth breathing is mostly shallow breathing, okay? And yes, do we use it sometimes in singing? Yes, we do use mouth breathing at times. Some musical styles require it. And the Songbird Music Academy, of course, is going to go over when to use it and when not to use it. And sometimes you use a combination of both, and that requires a really good foundation is what I'm going to lay down for you in these 5 days. And then we build upon that to really be able to produce that, because you can't do that on your own. You can't just produce some of these things without starting at the foundation, building and building and building. If I introduce that to you, you'd be like, huh? What are you saying? That sounds strange, Tanya, right? So today we're going to understand the impact of actually mouth breathing is shallow breathing and how it affects breath control. Why we wouldn't want to sing with our mouths all the time. Sing with our mouths. We do sing with our mouths. Breathe with our mouths all the time. Singers that breathe through their mouth only might need to push harder to keep their voices going. And when you push harder, you lose your pitch, you strain, and you can possibly injure your voice. So that's why we don't really want to do that. Now, a while back, I read this book called Breathe because I am a sciencey girl. I've been a dental hygienist for 30 years. So the mouth is everything that I've known and that I've studied deeply. So when I saw this about breathing, this was really interesting. Now, I will tell you, the dental community is starting to get deeper into breath. And because we have large tongues, sometimes that causes sleep apnea. It causes other physical things that happen. And if you've had braces and, we all take out some teeth and pull them back, well, it creates a smaller space in our mouth. And so that's not always a good thing. So now that we know these things, some of these books that I've been interested in reading about breathing, I'm like, oh, this is all about singing. I've got to bring this to my students. So that's why I read this book. It's basically the author accepts to be a guinea pig in an experiment regarding breathing. And his buddy doctor and scientist gets him to stuff his nose for 10 days. Like, he blocks it off so he cannot breathe through his nose for 10 days. And then so they take his vitals, they do x-rays, they check to see what he's doing and how he is before he gets his nose stuffed. And then after the 10 days, they have now material of what really mouth breathing does to our body. And so I will warn you, this book, it's kind of gross. So if you decide to get it, know that. The second thing is it does talk about evolution, which I don't know which side of the fence you're on. I'm not on that side, right? We know that there's a creator that has created us. Anyways, so basically, there are so many nuggets in this book that I can bring to you, and I'm going to bring to you some of them today. There are just some things that mouth breathing does that deteriorates our body. And this is what it would do to affect singing. So sleep apnea is one of the things they found. Sleepless nights, snoring, dry mouth, being thirsty, and you can see how that can relate to singing. If we're dry, that's not a good thing. You actually lose 40% of your water. So one of the things they've said is that you want to be drinking at night a lot because you're losing all this water. I don't think I went through everything yet. Hold on. There is one more. Sinus headaches. And here's the big thing. Your oxygen drops 90%. Now, this is an extreme. This is not just, I want to use mouth breathing a little bit. We all do that for moments in time in singing and in speaking. But we're talking about this is your operation. This is how you operate when you breathe. So those are the people that yesterday, they were like struggling from getting from the diaphragm to, away from the chest and to the diaphragm. It's that tension. It's because we've learned it for so long, right? Because, how many years are you alive? And that's what we're fighting up against. So when your oxygen drops 90%, it also goes into heart failure, depression, and memory problems. And I know Darlene was a nurse. Well, she still is a nurse. She's just not practicing. And she knows this probably firsthand, right? So she can probably say, yes, Tanya, this is exactly what it is. So this is just some very interesting facts that I wanted to bring to you. All right, so nasal breathing, that's what we're going to dig into. Why do it? Why is that your main starting? I always say, start with your nose, breathe in through your nose. Compared to mouth breathing, nasal breathing offers a multitude of benefits. Okay. Number one, it naturally humidifies, which means that it increases the level of moisture in the air. It helps to hydrate your throat. If there's humidity, some of us, in Arizona, we need humidifiers because it's such a dry heat over here. Anyway, so we don't want our throat to get dry because when our throat gets dry, it can hurt your voice and make it harder to sing. So it also filters the air, reducing risk of irritation and inflammation of those vocal cords. And with that filtering of the air, it also improves your immunity. There's a such thing as called nitric oxide, which is produced when we breathe through our nose. And nitric oxide kills the bacteria and viruses that might be floating around in the air. When your diaphragm tightens, it pulls air into your lungs, and this action controls how fast the air moves through your nose and how much you're actually getting that oxygen. So when you do that, breathing in helps to get a deeper diaphragmatic breath. That's all of that statistics basically says. When I do it that way, it increases my oxygen and it goes deeper in. So, which is why we want to do it. And then the bonus, because I'm a hygienist and you just get that from me, you get bonuses. It reduces dental cavities, because if you have a dry mouth, you now don't have any of the enzymes to help fight those cavities. So, okay. And then the other thing that I didn't talk about was it takes less effort to breathe through your nose when you're going to speak and sing, which we touched on how tension is the enemy of singing. So when you strain to sing, you create that tension, right? Breathing through your nose will make your voice sound really good, and you will avoid the risk of developing voice disorders and protecting your vocal cords, right? That's basically what we're trying to avoid, any injury. All right, there's that one. Nasal breathing. So what is it? If you struggled yesterday to breathe through your nose, I want you to imagine you're smelling a rose, right? Right? Like you're going to smell. Let's try that right now. Oh, that nose. And hopefully you didn't sniff it. You didn't go. It's not a snuff breath. It's a, really long producing breath. Nasal breathing is the perfect for the start of songs, right? You want to do it for the start of your songs. Because you know what? Sometimes we're nervous. We need to calm down. We need to focus on the Lord. And that is a helpful benefit to doing that. And I think that is the next one, right? And it reduces the anxiety, it calms down the butterflies. It also sets you up for success. And we can get further into that in the Songbird Academy regarding support. Breathing correctly is just the first step, and then the second level is actually using it for support. The other time it's really good is when there's an instrumental interlude, right? So if there's a long section where you're not singing and it's the instruments playing, that is the perfect time to do some really good deep breath and get a really good stored up breath in those sections. Now, nose breathing has to be quiet. No one wants to hear you going sniffing through the nose, right? You don't want that. All right. So the breath book also had an interesting quote, and I'm just going to leave it right here. The right nostril is a gas pedal. When you're inhaling primarily through this channel, circulation speeds up, your body gets hotter, cortisol levels and blood pressure and heart rate all increase. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. That's why I brought it to you. So let me go look and see if we have any questions so far. Yes, we're the altar of the Lord, incense, praise to God. Yes, Darlene. Somebody's watching in Chandler, huh, Quan? All right. Woohoo! I can go to Chandler without actually going. Look at that. All right. So, allergies. Boom. You are scheduled to sing on Sunday, and boom, you have the sniffles. It is allergy season right now in Arizona. I feel very dry. Gotta make sure I get my gallon a day. So what do? This is what I want you to do, because when you have allergies, all you want to do is breathe through your mouth. Well, I have some solutions for you. You want to keep it hydrated. So one of the things products that I recommend is this product right here. It's a nasal spray. You want to keep your nose clean and you want to keep it hydrated. The saline solutions dries out your nasal passages and eventually your whole throat. No bueno. We want to hydrate. So this is actually xylitol. That's why it's called Xlear. It's xylitol that's in there. And xylitol attracts moisture to itself and increases the airflow by 36%. So if I'm struggling, I want to make sure that I'm using a product that will increase my airflow, right? And help me to breathe better. So this is one option. They also make little packets for the neti pot. And then I just ordered one, not this one. I ordered a different one. And it had like a little loop-de-loop. I probably should have gotten that as the picture, but I didn't. It's amazing. I will just say, not the Xlear sinus rinse. It has like a little loop where all you have to do is go like this, put it up your nose, and it does it naturally, and it's not so messy. If you've ever done a neti pot, it's messy. So cleaning your nose, that's one thing that you can do. The other thing you can do is a technique called the Butekyo or Butekyo. Butekyo. I never know how to answer that one or pronounce that one. It's a nose clearing exercise. And what you're going to do with this exercise is you're going to breathe a small breath in through your nose, a small breath out of your nose, and then you're going to pinch your nose, hold your breath until you have a really good pressure that you need to breathe, right? That urge to breathe. And then you can release it and take a deep breath through your nose, not your mouth. So your mouth has to stay closed. You can move around so you're not so tense during that, but you want to build up enough of a good air shortage before you open your nose and being able to breathe. So that's what we're going to do right now. We are going to do this is it, the nose clearing exercise. So we are going to, woohoo! We're going to take a small breath in through our nose and then out and then hold it. Let it build up. And then when you're ready, release your nose and take it in. So now you saw me do it. Now it's your turn to do it, okay? So a small breath in through your nose, out. And you can really start feeling your sinuses clear. They really recommend you doing this 6 times, okay? Do I do it 6 times? No. I do it 3 or 4, depending on if I really need my nose unplugged. But this is a really good routine to do at night before you go to bed. And then after this, use that nasal spray to clear everything out. All right, I'm going to look and see if there's any questions before I continue on. Oh, good. Did you use the Xlear, Darlene? I know I talked to you about it before, and I love that it was helpful. All right, let's go on. Now, if you want a real challenge and you want to enhance your singing and your vocal health, you can also tape your mouth shut while you're sleeping or while you're exercising. This will optimize your breathing. So this one is just one that I found on Amazon. I'm sure there's multiple ones. There's some that are like X's on your mouth. They're called myotapes. It also helps you not to snore at night. So if you're a snorer, this might be a double benefit, right? I will tell you right now, I haven't tried that yet. I already have like a mouth guard in my mouth, and especially during allergy season, I don't know that I would do this because I do tend to breathe. Duct tape, here you come. I love it. Yes. I've wanted to use duct tape, for other things so I wouldn't eat so much, but but anyways, so this is another way you can really help your body to succeed. All right. So I'm going to talk to you about day 5 because I like to tease you just a little bit. Day 5, we're going to go over the one key element most voice teachers forget to talk about. And my vocal students are here. So ignore the dog. We're going to talk about, hey, come here. We're going to talk about the missing link in diaphragmatic breathing that majority of teachers do not teach because, well, it's complicated and it's hard to really teach it. And then I will teach you the technique that helps you to engage more movement from that diaphragm, which will help you to increase your breathing. This is the next step after doing the nasal clearing your nose. And now we're going to add that with breathing correctly. So much to look forward to. Thank you. This is the end of the second day. Hopefully you're going in and you're still doing your deep inhale, your slow leak. And if you needed to do that 25 book raises, don't forget about that. Hydrating, have fun, laugh at yourself. Have an amazing Thursday, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.